So in the last video, we looked at different angles formed by transversals, and now we're going to look more specifically at each of those angle relationships independently. First, we're going to be starting with corresponding angles and the corresponding angles postulate. So in geometry, if two lines are marked with small arrows, then the lines are parallel. So we're going to mark each of the following diagrams to show that line M is parallel to line N. So right now, these do not represent parallel lines because they're not properly marked with the arrows. So we can't say for sure that they're parallel unless they have arrows. So we could mark the diagrams like this with little arrows to show that line M is parallel to line N. If we look at letter B, we would mark the arrows going up like that. In letter C, we can mark parallel lines with arrows here. Normally the markings for parallel lines are going to be somewhere towards the ends of the line. Like you wouldn't mark them in the middle usually. And then this one looks a little crazy, right? So we have to make sure we're finding the correct line. So line M is here, line N is here, and we're trying to mark these as parallel. So you can put your angles or your little arrows on the ends. This might be one where you want to put them in the middle just because you have this line here. So you could also put them in the middle here. It might make it a little bit more obvious, but you'd only need one set. So you don't have to mark it in two places. You just need to mark it one time. So this is going to bring us to the corresponding angles postulate. If two lines cut by a transversal are parallel, then the pairs of corresponding angles are congruent. So just to remind you, the symbol for parallel, that's just going to be two lines right next to each other. So anytime you see this, that means parallel. And I just think about how you actually spell parallel, those two L's in the word. So the symbol looks just like the L's. So if we look at our diagram, we know that M is parallel to N because of these little arrows. So remember, corresponding angles, corresponding means they're on the same side of the transversal in the same position. So if we look at angle 1, angle 5 is corresponding to angle 1. And now that we know these two lines are parallel, that means that angle 1 and angle 5 are congruent. So we can now say angle 1 is congruent to angle 5. If we look at angle 3 is underneath line M on the left side of the transversal T. So which angle is on the same side of the transversal in the same position? That would be angle 7. So this means that
Angle 3 is congruent to angle 7.
notice here now that I used two arc marks on both angles 3 and 7. So when there's two arcs, that means that those two angles are congruent. Notice on angles 1 and 5, there's only one. So that's going to remind you that 1 and 5 are congruent and 3 and 7 are congruent. Now we're going to do this side of the transversal. If we look at angle 2 is going to be corresponding to angle 6. So because I already have 1 and 2 arc marks, this one's going to need 3. So use 3 arcs for angle 2, and then angle 6 would also need 3 to show that angle 2 is congruent to angle 6. The last set of corresponding angles would be 4 and 8. So they're on the same side of the transversal and they're both underneath their lines. So it's underneath line M and underneath line N. So this one would need 4 little marks, but I'm not going to write those because there's not enough room. So just so you know that angle 4 is congruent to angle 8. So notice that the corresponding angles postulate is written as a conditional statement. So if two lines cut by a transversal are parallel, then the pairs of corresponding angles are congruent. So this is given that the lines are parallel. So if we know the lines are parallel, then we know the corresponding angles are going to be congruent. So next we're going to write a converse of the corresponding angles postulate. So remember, the converse is when you switch the hypothesis and the conclusion. If pairs of corresponding angles are congruent, then the two lines cut by a transversal are parallel. So here is what this means with an example. I can say if angle 1 is congruent to angle 5, then line M is parallel to line N. So let's just say, for example, notice that M and N, the lines aren't marked with the parallel lines that we were doing in the last slide. So you don't really know if these lines are parallel. However, if you know that the angles 1 and 5, if these two angles are congruent, then that means that they're corresponding, which will then mean that line M is parallel to line N. So let's look at an example in which where we would use the corresponding angles postulate. So we're given that line AC, which is this one, is parallel to EG. So if these lines are parallel, we should mark them with the arrows, just so we know that these lines are parallel. And we're going to find X and justify our steps. So if these two lines are parallel, that is going to make HF, which is this line, the transversal. So you can see we're going to be doing this in the format of a 2-column proof. So on the left-hand side, we have our statements, and on the right-hand side, we have our reasons. So first, we want to state what is given. So we're given that line AC is parallel to line EG. So we want to make sure that that's going to be our first statement. AC is parallel to EG, which is given. So because these two lines are parallel, that means that this angle, which is HBC, is going to be congruent to BFG. I know that these two angles are congruent because if these are parallel lines and they're cut by a transversal, then this angle is corresponding to this angle because they're on the same side of the transversal in the same position. So your reason would be corresponding angles postulate. And we can abbreviate corresponding this way, angle sign with the angle sign and an S, and then postulate you can abbreviate with POST. So because these angles are corresponding, that means that their measurements are equal. So you would write an equality statement next. Your reason would be definition of congruent angles, which this should be familiar from last unit. The only new thing that we're including is now a new reason of corresponding angles. So now that I know their measurements are equal, we're just going to use substitution property of equality to solve for x. So we have 2x plus 43 is equal to 8x plus 7. So notice we have addition on both sides. So we're going to use subtraction property of equality. And we can do all the subtraction in one step. So if I subtract 2x from each side, that's going to give me 6x on the right side. So minus 2x, it gives me 6x. And then if I subtract 7 from each side, 43 minus 7 is going to give me 36. So if you have all of the same operations and you're going to do subtraction, there's no need to do two separate steps. You can just subtract everything in one step. And then you're going to use division property of equality to divide by 6. So we get 6 is equal to x. And sometimes you'll notice that the number is on the left side and the variable is on the right side, which is not standard form. So if we wanted to switch these around, we can. We can make it x equals 6. So when I just switch the order of them, that is the symmetric property of equality. For the next example, letter B, what value of x would make line M parallel to line N? So notice these lines, they don't have the parallel marks, and we don't know it's parallel, but if the question is asking us what could x be to make them parallel, it's insinuating that these would have to be equal or congruent, which would make the lines parallel. So that would be an example of the converse of corresponding angles. So for line N to be parallel to line M, these would have to be equal to each other. So we set them equal to each other to solve for x. So go ahead, pause the video, and see what answer you get for x. You should have had an answer of x is equal to 14. So if you substitute 14 in to both of these expressions, that would make these angles equal. And if these corresponding angles are equal or congruent, that means that line M is parallel to line N. So for your summary, please make sure you answer the essential question, which is, how do you identify corresponding angles?